Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Now look here at Shiba Inu, seeing what's going on. We had a lot of requests come through for this coin, so I figured I'd jump on in there. Previously, we've analyzed this coin, but it's been honestly about a month or two since we dove into it. So what we want to look at first, kind of when you get back into a chart and you haven't looked at it in a little while, you like to look at key fib levels, but also more important, I would say, is previous support and resistances. So just one that seems pretty glaringly obvious here is this previous low slash new high or potential new high. We can see there about, and I'm paraphrasing here to avoid all the decimal points. I'm just going to say 2010 upwards of 2015, or sorry, 2050. 2010 to 2050 is that range here of resistance. So just know that as we get closer to that, we'll probably see somewhat of a resistance range there, and it's just kind of something to be mindful of, okay? So we'll pay attention to that. We'll also pull up our local fibs here, or at least, semi-local, of course, before the pump, to kind of see how much further the price could continue higher or lower, just to be on the safe side there, and kind of go from there. All right. Last thing we're going to look at too, or more so first thing, but also equally as important, definitely not last, is the liquidation levels here. In fact, I think I already had it pulled up here. Let's go ahead and refresh and take a look. And while that's loading, I want to say thanks to my community. Awesome scenarios here. Took some profits from MNT, good 24%, ICP 68, Near Protocol 70%, Cardano 61, VeChain 20, and Polkadot 21%. That's all in the last 24 hours. Keep in mind some of those trades were a little older and we've already secured some profit on it, and those are riding out. So it really, those profit percentages are going to be based on how much you take out at any given time. I always provide multiple profit targets just to give you perspective there. In this scenario right now, second, third, almost fourth targets are getting hit pretty consistently. So it's a kind of market where you may want to let the trades ride a little bit. Take a look at the liquidation on the back end here. Really kind of interesting, the way that things are looking here. In other words, interesting as in not a lot of late shorts here entering the market, which makes sense. They finally got a little gun shy. Look at this. They got destroyed at between 17 and 1800 or 1.7, 1.8, depending on the exchange you're using. But generally speaking here, most liquidation has been swept for the recent shorts, as you can see, pretty decent amount of destruction there. And why people short the market so much in a bullish trend is beyond me. I don't understand it. But again, greed is a very real thing. People just have a tendency of wanting to short any coin that's overextended. And I wouldn't be surprised we start seeing some late shorts here soon. But as you can see, everything's pretty much been destroyed. So the easy way to understand this is that there's no liquidation left to the upside. And in turn, generally when you see that, the price does have a tendency of pulling back. But it also has a tendency of going in any direction. I know it sounds kind of crazy, and that's really how trading is, but the truth is with less manipulation in the market, then the price can essentially do what it's supposed to do. So we might see some natural TA here moving forward, but this candle wick is not natural. That's a very strong amount of buying pressure, and every time we've seen in the past here with these large volume candles, the price has a tendency of moving in that same direction for a while, okay? Now, obviously depends on where it's at. We found our local bottom here at about the 1300 mark, so keep in mind that's obviously a support range. We can see our local point of control. The most amount of buying pressure, and this is no coincidence, 0.618, 0.65 fib level, that golden pocket, is a really common area of not only retracement, but more important, accumulation. So we saw a lot of accumulation there. It all took place back here, of course, but we can see as we blasted straight through that, the price pulls back. That'd be a very safe, sorry, not a very safe, but likely a safer place to consider entry depending on where we're at when we get there, okay? So the price pulls back to this 1700 mark. I'm going to probably consider looking into a long as a potential reality, okay? Again, I'm going to look into it. I'm not just going to blindly jump into it right now because it feels good, right? Feelings don't really matter in trading too much. I hope you understand that by now. Okay, let's see where we're at. So we're over 70 on the RSI. This is always a very good sign. Basically implying that we're in really good shape. You don't want to short into it. I don't care if the price pulls back by 30, 40%. You're not supposed to short into this kind of overextension, mainly because, not because it's an overextension, because that's, we all know what happens when you short overextensions, is more importantly, we have tons of money flowing into the coin. MFI is high. It's been high for a while, even leading into today. That's a good sign here for a bullish trend to continue. Now, is it going to go much higher today? Maybe not. I'm speculating that we're going to probably see some kind of consolidation before the next leg up. That's usually the case, but everything on the daily time frame, minus the 200 SMA, which coincidentally is right there at that 2000 mark that I mentioned earlier, previous support, previous resistance level, likely the new resistance. We see a lot of, and pretty much every single time frame is fully bullish. So last 12, 16 hours, we've seen a solid amount of volume. So that volume continues, the price will keep going higher, right? So you just got to keep in mind it's pulling back a little bit. Bitcoin's starting to kind of find its top there at about 65.2, 65.3 range. But here, again, another reason, do not short this coin. Everything is screaming bullish convergence. There's no reason to short it. And I recognize you're going to see some people online here. In fact, you probably already saw them before we were watching this video as to how amazing they were when they shorted the top there with super high leverage. Okay. What they're not sharing with you is how many times they got stopped out to find that perfect trade. What is the point, folks? Why try 15 times to find one good trade so you can brag online how great you are when you're actually totally terrible? Sorry. I don't know why I get frustrated by that, but that's probably the more aggravating thing. Like FOMO doesn't get me as frustrated as it does just the fact that people think that crypto is a get-rich-quick scheme, and for the most part, people seem to follow others who are just making really ridiculous calls. So from a trader who's been trading for over 20 years, I tell you, it's not really worth shorting this coin, even if it continues to pull back. It probably will, but everything here is telling us there's no reason to do so, all right? The only thing it might be a slight consideration is just the fact that, once we hit maybe an overextended state here in a few more hours, which I don't think we're even there yet. Technically, we hit an overextended state here, but we consolidated nicely. We've got 4 4-hour candles. If we go another 4, maybe 5 candles, which would be 20 hours more, 36 hours of continuation in the same direction, that's usually when you see the pullback. Okay, so I'm willing to guess that even though the price will probably go sideways, it'll be more likely to go sideways and up than sideways and down. Okay. Anyways, that's kind of just the general consensus of how that's supposed to work. Everything here is screaming bullish convergence. There's no reason to short into it. That's all there is to it. So again, it's not to say you can't take profit on a short. That's totally feasible. And in fact, there's probably a lot of people that do that fairly well. And there's no discredit to that. But again, the truth here is that there's no reason to. The trend overall is extremely bullish in the entire market. And there's zero reasons to consider a short, because you're just taking the odds of success and lowering them. That's all you're doing. Okay, so if you want to trade into that, that's up to you. Some people really like that, but again, me personally, you go with the trend, and this trend right now is absolutely to the upside. So what I'll do is I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. If you're not familiar, it looks a little something like this here, where I just kind of provide you with insight on coins that I'm covering and provide you with liquidation levels, just different things that I see that may be beneficial for you. So it's all available for you there. Check it out in your own time. Otherwise, CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below if you want to be part of our trade signals here. Really awesome opportunities. Really good market right now. Securing a ton of profit, and it's really nice to be able to have that. So thanks to my community for just being an awesome part of my life, and just with the wonderful feedback too. You're awesome. Thanks again, folks. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.